All right, we talked a little bit about the Oculus Rift, and I'm here at the Oculus Rift Summit/Roundtable with Jason Spangler, our CTO, Kevin Saffa, lead programmer, Tom Davies, gameplay programmer, and we are now going to be implementing the first iteration of the first blush at the Oculus Rift. Now, Tom, you've been working on it a lot these last couple of weeks, so what are the fans, what can they expect?
Well, it's very exciting. I'm excited to get it out there because it's really cool. It's definitely an early version of Rift support. It's going to be a pretty ongoing process, I think, to get it going. But right now, you can walk around the hangar, you can look at the ships, and it all works, pretty well. You can check out. You can sit in the seats, sit in the pilot seats, check everything out. But there's definitely some issues with it that we want to iron out.
Right. First blush. So, and this, Kevin, you've taken over the build process here, and so this is kind of our first. This is actually going to be your first build.
Yeah.
Right. So it's coming out today. If you haven't gotten your build for the hangar, or your patch rather for the hangar, it should be out right after this airs. So, what can they expect?
Well, we're we're updating the patcher and the launcher. I'm taking over all those processes, so this will be a good first test for some changes that are coming down the pipe in the launcher, and be my first patch to put out to the wild too. So that'll be fun.
To the wild is a good way of calling it, exactly. So Jason, this is the first Oculus Rift support. We promised it at the $12 million stretch goal, right? But there are still some issues. This is not finished.
Yeah, some of the issues are the engine seems to have some higher latency, like some of the demos you're used to. We've measured like maybe at 16 millisecond stuff, and this is like 40 millisecond. Tom measured that after he implemented support for the Oculus latency tester. Some others we're only using the post-processing stereo effect and not the true stereo rendering. So there's you'll see some stereo separation visible sometimes. We have some like tracking and movement issues too, but they're all things we plan to solve in the future.
Right, but we've gotten to a point now where we think it's good enough for people to get in there, play with, and we want their feedback. We talked earlier out before we came in here about how right now you can actually be walking this way and your head looking that way, so that we don't have an interface that shows you how to align that, right? So
right, yeah. And with a lot of other games that isn't such an issue because you have some kind of point of reference on the screen, like a gun or something, so you kind of always know which way your body is facing. Or games in some cases will have some kind of head steering, so you'll actually walk which way you're looking rather than your head being detached from your body. So that's another thing we can look into as well. I mean, Oculus is such a early technology right now. Everybody's kind of figuring all this stuff out. So
sure,
it's very cool to get it out there and see what feedback there is.
It's funny, but in 1992, Chris had kind of created an early version of this from Strike Commander, where you could look around the cockpit, you could see your hands move and stuff like that. And so one of the things that he was very excited about with Oculus Rift when they came up was, he could see his vision realized in Star Citizen. So we've been working very closely with these guys for since they started and since we've started, and they've been very good to us. We've gotten really good support. And so, what are the differences between the original dev kit and the high-res one, other than not making me ill?
Well, they've beefed up the hardware on that, and it's higher definition, of course, so it's a little bit cleaner. You don't have as much swimmy stuff as the original one. What else am I missing on that?
No, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, one thing in particular about our game is everything, all the textures, the models, everything is so high definition. When you're looking on such a low resolution screen as the original dev kit, there's a lot of pixel flickering and blinking just because of all that aliasing. So it definitely looks a lot better on the high-res one.
My term sounded more technical, swimmy. I like that.
So we got a chance. Some of the fans got to try it out on last week because we had some fan visits. And what did they think, Jason? Did you get they get to see it? What did they think?
They seemed like they loved it. They were really excited and thought it was really cool.
And it's kind of, they were testing it out. We've been testing around the office. I like it too. I can't wait to actually test it in dogfighting. That's going to be kind of fun. And then we'll really be able to tell whether we can, whether it's going to make you, my son, the winglet, is really looking forward to it. But sometimes old dads are not.
It's really cool too, because you're talking back in '92. When I was in college, we were doing some of the original VR stuff through some companies that were trying to set up all the VR is the next big thing, and it just didn't happen. And now it's actually happening, and it's really cool to be working on it.
Yeah, and we dedicated a little extra time to making sure that happens, because we promised people that we're going to do it, even if it takes a little longer. We're going to get it done, because we are working with the CryEngine team to make sure that it works. And so sometimes we're waiting on them to update. Sometimes we rewrite stuff ourselves. It's an interesting process, and so we believe in making sure that we do meet those requirements, even if maybe it takes a little bit of time sometimes to get it right. But I mean, we've been playing with it for a while, right, Jason? A little bit in the Hangar, and so why are we doing it now? What's the deal now? We just feel it's time.
Yeah, it was time. We had the time available on the engineering side to really fix these last few issues that we thought we really needed to before releasing. We have our high def dev kit prototype so that we can see it in higher resolution, and it's the time.
It is the time. And the cool thing about this whole thing is that both our companies are crowdfunding successes, and we are big on finally letting the voices of the community or the world be heard on what they want. Clearly they want the Oculus Rift, clearly they want Star Citizen, and clearly they want the Oculus Rift and Star Citizen, and that's happening now. So go get your patch today. You'll enjoy it. I think if you've got an Oculus Rift, great. If you don't, find somebody who does.